I'm Tim Clarke, I'm the creative director of Iris in New York. So in terms of specialties, I guess, we work across all different media. What we always try and do is make sure, and I think we're creates engagement really. We do a lot of digital work, we do a lot of social work, but we work across any media really that's appropriate to answering a question, answering a problem that a brand has. And that's really what we try and always make sure we're doing. We're not just kind of answering briefs, but we're actually solving problems. So someone comes to us with an issue that the brand needs to overcome, we don't necessarily try and fit it in a box. We don't necessarily go, well, a banner's the answer to that, or a TV ad's the answer to that. We actually look at, well, what's the best way to engage our consumer and actually get them to, in some way, participate with the brand and engage with it. And that could be a number of different media. It could be a mix. It could be one thing particularly. And that's really just how we try and approach any brief, any project, really.
So, when you decided to come here, what was it about Iris that really attracted you and ultimately made you decide that you wanted to be a part of the team?
Well, I actually joined Iris in London, getting on for 9 years ago now, and I've been working at a traditional above-the-line agency, doing lots of TV work, and it sort of it was fun for a while, but after a while you kind of realise that spending half a year getting 3 TV ads out could be a bit frustrating. And when I came to Iris through a friend of mine, I spoke to Sean, who's one of the founding partners and global creative director, and he talked about how Iris has approached things. And when I look back on it now, it's very much what a lot of things that become buzzwords in the industry at this time. Their approach to how they wanted to look at advertising, they just got me personally really excited about how you can really look to connect with the consumer rather than just sell them something. There was things that he said to me back then that I now say to people I'm interviewing now. Things that are around the idea of looking for people who are sort of hybrid thinkers. It's a kind of trendy term at the moment, referring to them as T-shaped people. But back then, the idea was not to put people in these kind of categories and go, well, you're a writer, you just deal with words. You're a art director, you just deal with pictures, but actually, thinking about people who just are creative people, want to come up with ideas and are willing to just get on and do that and solve problems rather than just stick to their one category. So, as I said, that was a good few years ago now, and it's come to fruition. You can see, it felt like then they were thinking ahead of the curve, and that's always been the aim to keep that going.
So you look for versatility. Tell us a little bit about what you look for when you're hiring new creatives or any position really. What are the things that you look for and how do you go about finding people?
Definitely when we look at new people, it's definitely versatility is a big part of it. We look for people, we kind of quite often describe them as hybrid thinkers is a term we use quite a lot. So and by that it could mean a number of things. I mean, we see a lot now, obviously, you'll see a designer who does some coding as well, and that's become a very prevalent one, but it's more than that. It's more about, someone who thinks of themselves first as a creative, not a copywriter or an art director or a designer. They actually think of themselves as someone who can be a problem solver, someone who can work in multiple media, take multiple approaches to a problem. So we definitely look for that. I think we look for people who are able to do that thing of looking at a problem and solving it, not just ticking boxes. And we look for people who really sort of fit in with our way of thinking, our culture. It's important for you spend a lot of your time working, especially in the advertising industry. You spend a lot of time in the office, so you have to get on with the people around you. So it's really important that the people we bring in can be part of the team, part of that group. And that are willing to get stuck in. I mean, we have a very open office here. We try and keep our structure fairly flat. When it comes to days when we're busy, when we're doing pitches, when we're doing anything else, you're just as likely to find our global creative director sitting there comping things and mounting stuff up as you are the most junior creative. And that's kind of a big part of our way of working, our attitude is that everyone gets involved, everyone gets stuck in. So we look for people with that that kind of personality, that kind of slightly, almost kind of entrepreneurial personality, someone who wants to kind of find new ways to do things that aren't just going to wait to have work handed to them or be told what is needed from them, but actually go out and look for opportunities.
And how about when you're looking for new clients that you want to work with, or what sort of projects you want to take on? Is there anything that stands out to you that makes you say, yeah, we definitely want to go for that project?
I think, we've been very lucky. We've got some great clients who are always they'll give us a brief, but they'll always be open to hearing another solution to a problem, and I think that's what we always look for. There are going to be times where someone needs a banner because that's what their media buy is, or they need a print ad, or they need a TV ad. And obviously we're more than happy to answer those kind of briefs, but what we really look for is a client who's receptive to taking that further and actually going, my money's better spent somewhere else to answer this problem, or that seeing that actually my target audience is looking for something slightly different to what I perhaps initially thought it was. So it's less about the exact project we're looking for, more just sort of that receptiveness from clients who are up for, let's look at better solutions to that. Because we'll kind of try anything. We'll kind of go for different media. We'll try different things, whether it is projecting something on the side of the building, coming out with a banner, or producing a TV ad. As long as it's the right answer to the problem, that's what's most important.
Cool. And is there anything that you're working on right now that you're particularly excited about that you'd like to let us know about?
Well, try to be excited about everything really. I think there's always something we try to do is make sure that, no matter whether it's as simple as little brief, you try to be as excited about it as the big things. But I guess right now, this time of year, we do a projection on the front of Saks Fifth Avenue every year. This is the third year we'll be doing it. I've just seen the final video of it, and I think every year we've managed to move it on, take it to another step, make it more interesting, make it more exciting to see. And so this year's we'll start running in the next couple of weeks, so we're really excited about seeing the reception to that, and getting out there and seeing it. Obviously there's nothing like seeing it actually up on the building and seeing people's reaction to it, so that's coming in the next couple of weeks, so that's definitely an exciting one.
Cool. And where do you see the agency going in the future? What are your aspirations?
I think obviously there's two things. There's the agency sort of globally, and there's New York particularly. And New York, the New York office of Iris is kind of just got to that point where we're moving from being a very small agency towards sort of mid-sized. And I think one of the important things is that we don't lose that kind of entrepreneurial spirit, that kind of feel of, I guess like a startup and wanting to get involved in everything, and being flexible and being able to take things on in a different way to what other agencies do. So I think it's really important and really exciting to see an agency grow, but at the same time we want to make sure we don't lose the core of our culture, and hopefully that will allow us to keep doing really exciting things. We see more and more across the industry now people bringing together the idea of digital and physical things, and that being a really great way to engage consumers. And we're always looking for what's the next way to do that. Obviously technology is constantly changing. We're always trying to stay at the forefront of that, and really just trying to stay on top of what that is, and then be the first one to do things. I mean, that's really what I think every agency's goal should be, is trying to be the first one to do something, trying to be the first to market with a new idea or a new approach to things. So I just want to see us keep going and keep pushing for that, keep pushing for, as we refer to, extraordinary, something really different that stands out from the crowd.